What if I told you that 1,400-year-old mystery, one that's been hidden in plain sight in one of the world's most sacred books, wasn't actually a mystery at all? What if it's really a practical tool for your life, right now? Well, one author is making the provocative claim that he's cracked the code. Let's dive in and see what he's found. So this is the question at the heart of it all, from author Ali Rizvi. He's talking about something called the MUQATTAʿAT, which literally translates to the disjointed letters. They're these enigmatic Arabic letters that have, completely stumped scholars for centuries. Rizvi's argument? The misunderstanding is over. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the mystery itself, then get into the author's personal journey to find an answer. We'll see how he says he unlocked the code. We'll decode a real example together, and then see how it all turns into a practice you could actually use. Okay, so what exactly are these muqatta'at? Well, they are these combinations of single Arabic letters that show up right at the beginning of 29 chapters of the Quran. You might have heard of some like Alif Laam or Taha. For centuries, the accepted wisdom has been that their meaning is known only to God, a divine secret basically. And that's where Ali Rizvi enters the story. For him, this wasn't just some academic puzzle. The search was deeply, deeply personal. As a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, you can imagine he felt the weight of this question. But here's the twist. He wasn't looking for a religious answer. He was after practical, universal clarity. Now, this is what I think is so fascinating. Just look at Rizvi's background. He's not your typical religious scholar, not by a long shot. He's a CEO, an investor, a systems thinker. He's coming at this ancient text with a totally different toolbox, one that's analytical, entrepreneurial, and deeply personal. And this right here is the crucial point. Rizvi says his work is a recovery, not a new revelation. He's making the case that the Quran's deepest message isn't really about scripture. It's about a universal path to self-awakening, one that's accessible to literally anyone, no matter what you believe. Okay, so how did he do it? What's the secret sauce? Well, Rizvi's whole idea hangs on this, that every single Arabic letter has a pre-Islamic pictographic meaning, like an ancient symbol that holds its original core concept. He says these are the building blocks of the code. Check this out. This is where it all starts to click. The letter Alif, for example, it comes from a picture of an ox head, which symbolizes strength, right? Primal power. Lam comes from a shepherd's staff, which represents guidance, connection. And Ra is from a human head, signifying movement, progression. So you see, they're not just letters, they're concepts packed into a symbol. All right, now that we have the keys, let's actually try to open a door. We're going to apply this new way of seeing things to one of the most common letter combinations in the Quran, Alif-Lām-Rā. So here they are, Alif-Lām-Rā. Now, according to Rizvi, this isn't just a sound you make. It's a specific instruction. It's a tool you're supposed to use when you feel stuck, when you're procrastinating, you know that feeling, when you just need a little push to get moving. So let's just break it down one more time. We've got Alif, that's our symbol for strength and power, then Lam, which is all about connection and guidance, and finally Ra, that's movement, a purposeful step forward. Each one has its own unique job to do. So, what happens when you put them all together? Boom. Strong, guided movement toward purpose. All of a sudden, these disjointed letters aren't disjointed at all. They form this incredibly clear, powerful instruction. It's basically a formula for breaking through that feeling of being stuck. And this is where it gets really good, because this is where the theory becomes a tool. The author argues this decoded meaning isn't just a fun fact for your brain. It's the foundation for a real practical method of self-development. A kind of spiritual technology, if you will. This leads to a really important shift in how we even talk about them. Rizvi says, let's stop calling them the disjointed letters. That name just reinforces the idea that they're a mystery we can't solve. He wants to rename them HURUF al-Tajalli, which means the letters of manifestation. See the difference? That's a tool. That's something you can use. So how do you actually use it? Here's one of the core techniques from the book. It's a simple breathing cycle. As you inhale, you mentally chant Alif and feel that strength filling you up. Then you hold your breath and focus on Lam, connecting to your goal. And as you exhale, you chant Ra and actually imagine yourself moving forward. It's that simple, and it's just the beginning. But it's not just about the breathing. It's also about self-reflection.
The system uses these really powerful questions to give you clarity. This is the one for Alif-Lām-Rā, and I want you to just take a second and ask yourself this right now. Am I moving toward my truth or running from it? It's not just about action, it's about making sure the action is right.
So let's zoom out and look at the big picture here. What the author is doing is pretty bold. He's making a proposition to formally redefine these letters, not just for scholars and libraries, but for everybody, as a practical system for, well, for living a better life. So he's not just dropping an idea and walking away. He's proposing a full-on movement, and it has 3 steps. Step 1, reveal the true root meanings of the letters. Step 2, officially rename them to reflect what they actually do. And step 3, create simple, practical tools so anyone can use this power, taking this knowledge out of the hands of institutions and putting it back into yours. And really, it all comes down to this single idea. The argument is that these ancient symbols hold a key that's universal. It's not about one religion, it's about the shared human journey of finding clarity, finding purpose, and ultimately waking up to our own potential. And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending final thought. I mean, we use letters and symbols every single day, and we never think twice about where they came from. But what if this author is right? Could the very symbols we use to write our thoughts also hold a secret blueprint for how to live our lives? Something to think about.